Thank you, Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Christina Walsh, and I'm the Director of Activism and Coalitions at the Institute for Justice. We are a national public interest civil liberties law firm that's advocated for the rights of natural African-style hair braiders for 25 years, both in court and before legislators. We ask that you please support Senate Bill 2323. I want to briefly note, this is all cultural. This is just a braiding bill, and this is the livelihoods of so many African-American women across your state that we're talking about. I work on this issue across the country. I've been in the braiding shops. I've been in the underground illegal, living room shops set up because these women can't work in the light of day that I'm sure exist across Rhode Island. This is cultural, this is about livelihoods, and this is extremely important. I'll cut right to the chase. Braiding is simply not cosmetology. That's why 23 states right now, and counting, do not require a license to braid hair, including Connecticut, nearby New Hampshire and Maine, and Vermont is currently considering this similar exemption bill. And that list just continues to grow. And in those 23 states, there is no threat of any harm to the public's health and safety. There is no evidence. So experience in those states tell us that braiding is safe. And our research confirms that braiding is safe. The vast majority of complaints against braiders are from already licensed competitors and government agencies about licensure status and have nothing to do with public health and safety. Over a 7-year period across 9 states and the District of Columbia, there were 6 complaints remotely having anything to do with public health and safety. And none of those were verified by boards. We found through intense strategic research that burdensome licenses like these keep braiders out of work and have absolutely no connection to promoting the public's health and safety. And thirdly, a basic observation of hair braiding confirms that it is safe. Absolutely nothing about natural braiding, if you experience it, if you watch it, if you actually go into these shops, necessitates mandatory training, and certainly not 1,500 hours of cosmetology training, learning how to use chemicals, heat, all of these things that these women not only, and men, not only don't engage in and don't want to engage in, but culturally reject. This doesn't undermine the incredible talent that goes into braiding hair or the importance it is to African culture. Braiding simply doesn't trigger any public health and safety concerns. And in our experience in the past, cosmetology schools have opposed these types of bills out of a fear of loss of profits. Perhaps the case here is they're concerned about some mission creep, that perhaps this will diminish some of the value of their license. But braiding is not cosmetology. The cosmetology schools don't teach braiding. We've looked at the curriculum. Don't need to get into that. You can ask the other schools about how much they actually, you could go to their websites and see what curriculum that they're offering. There's no legitimate, and the reason their opposition is based on that. We have found in the past that it's because there's no legitimate or fathomable public health or safety concerns. That can be raised when you're actually considering the evidence, and I'm all about the evidence. So because experience, research, and observation all confirm this. By passing this bill, you would give braiders across the state, in an industry dominated predominantly by African-American women, recent immigrants from Africa, access to the first rung of the economic ladder. They would be able to open up legitimate businesses coming out from the underground economy and generate economic growth across this state. And finally, I'm wrapping up. It's important to note that groups from across the philosophical spectrum, from my friend Mike Senhouse, who may have stepped out from the right-leaning Center for Prosperity here, to the Obama administration itself, the first White House to put out a paper recommending exactly these types of reforms about occupational licensing, that it is most often pushed for by industry insiders trying to fence out competition, that it doesn't have any ties to protecting the public health and safety or improving services, and that it must be reformed. And I'm happy to follow up by email with that Obama administration report that I have right here. So in any event, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to take any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Susan Prescott.